Hi everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Just Good Games. So this week, as you probably know, Microsoft dropped the campaign trailer for Halo Infinite, and it looks awesome. So I thought, let's stick my nostalgia goggles on and do a tier list of the previous Halo games. There's not many of them, but I've included all the sort of little mobile PC ones which reported to console, and obviously like all the Halo Wars ones and everything like that. So it's pretty much every Halo game going. Now if you haven't done a tier list before, all I do is I put these games into specific tiers, with S being the best and F being the worst. Now with that all being said, I just want you to do one thing, and that is go down there and hit that subscribe button, please. So let's go on and do this. Right, and we start with an absolutely killer Halo game. By the way, I am rating these games on the overall package and not just the campaign or not just the multiplayer. I'm doing the entire thing. So we start with Halo Reach, and Halo Reach was just a combination of everything which Bungie did well. It is a prequel separate for Halo Combat Evolved, and it is just absolutely great. The campaign is probably my favourite campaign of any Halo game. The multiplayer just had all the best modes cherry picked from over the years, and it was just so good to play. And it had like this new multiplayer mode which was like a wave sort of type one, which had never been seen in a Halo game before. It was just fantastic. That last level on the campaign where you're playing as, I believe it is Spartan number 6, either 6 or 9, and the campaign also I think had a lot more variety than all the other ones, and so we are starting off on a good note and we're going straight in that S tier. Right, next up we have Halo 2, and Halo 2 is probably one of the original trilogy which I've spent the least amount of time with. I've obviously played through it once, but I had the Master Chief Collection, and this is the one I didn't play through again for some reason. And maybe my experience with it is not as good as some of the other ones. Obviously it ends on that horrible cliffhanger, and for me it is a great Halo game. It introduced like quite a few of the cool things which is carried over to the other games, like dual wielding weapons, and obviously introduced the Arbiter in the campaign. But I feel like the campaign wasn't as good as some of the other games. Obviously the multiplayer elements was better than obviously the first one, but again not as good as what came after. But it was the one which really started the multiplayer proper boom of the Halo franchise. And this might be a bit controversial, but I want to stick it a step below Reach and stick it in the A tier. Next we have Halo 3, and Halo 3 is sort of like my Halo. It's my first person shooter online game which I played the most, and for me this game set the bar in multiplayer online shooters, along with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, obviously Call of Duty 4. Why'd I hold up 3 then? Anyway, this is the bar for multiplayer for me. It is unbelievably good. It introduced everything which is so good about the Halo multiplayer. I cannot express how much I played this game. I played this game constantly, and we haven't even got to the campaign yet, and I feel it's one of the best campaigns in a Halo game. You do finish the fight until they made number 4 and 5, but the campaign was so cool. Lots of throwbacks to the first game, bit of nostalgia, but I think it ended the trilogy on a real high. The dual Scarab fight, getting to like being a Rhino. I think it's the first time you get to be in a Rhino in this game. This was just superb, and Halo 3 definitely goes in the S tier. Here we go now next with Halo 5. Halo 5 got a bit of flack because it is the first like main Halo game where you didn't. Oh no, you do play as your second player plays as Arbiter in Halo. No, you do play as Arbiter in Halo 2. So strap back, this is not the first time you don't play as Chief in a game, but we were promised a big showdown between Spartan Locke and Master Chief in this game, the two players that you play as, and it just sort of played out in a cutscene, and again, like Halo 2, it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, and Infinite is almost sort of like brushing over that from the like campaign trailer. There's obviously the mystery of what happened to Cortana, but right at the end of this one, Cortana's gone a bit wild, and it's like, okay, now we're gonna have to stop her, and then the game just finishes, and you think, okay, number 6, we're gonna be taking her on, but Infinite seems to be, like, as I said, brushing that aside, and the campaign on Halo 5 was a bit lackluster. The actual multiplayer, I remember being a bit bugged and a bit glitchy to start off with, if memory serves me right. It obviously is that great Halo multiplayer, but we'd seen it all before at this point, and I think we need something new, and I'm hoping Infinite brings a bit more to that. So in all honesty, Halo 5 is going to go in the B tier for now, but that has scope to move, that has scope to move down. Next up we have Halo Wars 2, and I'm actually quite a big fan of the Halo Wars games. I really enjoyed 1 and I really enjoyed 2. I'm not a big lover of the real-time strategy games, but when I play them I enjoy them. I feel this one definitely improved upon the first game. It wasn't a sleeper hit, but it was a game which I think a lot of people slept on. It sort of came at a weird point in Xbox's life cycle, and I believe it was one of the first games, but don't hold me to this, one of the first sort of releases straight onto Game Pass. I could be completely wrong about that, so don't like destroy me in the comments below, but it's just something which has popped into my head which might be true. And in all honesty, Halo Wars 2 I think is going to sit in B with Halo 5, or do I stick it in C? I'm going to stick it in B for now. No, I'm going to stick it in... This is tough, because they're two like sort of completely different genres, so it's what do I remember enjoying them roughly the same amount. We'll stick for there for now. Right, next up we have Halo, and I know it's 1 or 2. There's Spartan Strike later on, so this is Spartan Assault, and this is what they call like a 2-stick game. I believe this was first on the PC and possibly a mobile game, and then was ported over to the Xbox at a later date. And it's a 2-stick game, and it's like a top-down view, and you like left stick controls your movement, right stick controls where your guns aim, and they're just very basic games, very fun. I believe this one was set between Halo 3 and 4, and they're just enjoyable little games. I think there's about 20, 25, maybe even 30 missions in it. Just short little missions. It's a bit of Halo. It's nice. It does what it says on the tin. It's nothing special, and I honestly just think that's going to sit in the C tier. Does what it says on the tin. Right. Halo Combat Evolved, the game which started it all, one of the most groundbreaking first-person shooters of all time, and really what launched Microsoft's original console, the Xbox, sort of into the not the stratosphere, but made the Xbox a name, made it a must-have, because Halo Combat Evolved was absolutely amazing. And I have played this not recently, but whenever Master Chief Collection came out and it got patched and all sorted out. I played Halo Combat Evolved, I'd say about 3 or 4 years ago then, and it hasn't aged well. It's like level design is a bit generic, and compared to the other ones, this is probably the most difficult one to put into a tier, because if you were saying this, if you were doing this tier list, even though there's only one Halo game, say you were doing a tier list in, I think it's 2001, no, not 2000, 2005 or 2004, whenever Halo Combat Evolved came out, if you do a tier list of shooters, that's in the S tier, because that was a standard at the time. But is it? I am going to, because just for how groundbreaking it is, and at the time it was amazing and the top shooter, so I am going to put it in the S tier. This might be controversial, I don't know. I definitely think I enjoyed it more than 2 anyway, so that's why I think I'll put it above 2. So we're gonna stick Halo Combat Evolved, the game which started it all, in the S tier. Oh, Halo ODST, and ODST is, I think, a very underrated game. I really liked ODST. I liked that you weren't this overpowered Spartan, that you were a more standard soldier. I liked the mood of this game. The sort of semi-open world. Well, yeah, it was open world to a degree, but a small open world, and you went round searching for these sort of like memories of what had happened to this place, and then you would play through the missions, and I thought that was really cool. It had a really good variety of the missions. The multiplayer was coming between free and reach, so the multiplayer was just freeze but like a bit improved upon. But it was just, I think, underrated. I like the mood. I like how this played. I like the variety of the missions in the campaign. And I am going to put Halo ODST, and it's actually Halo 3 ODST. So it's almost like what Spider-Man Miles Morales is to know, because that's got the same map. But you get what I mean. It's a little bit more Halo, and I'm going to put it in the A tier, because I really, really enjoyed this game, and I think it's a bit of an underrated gem in the Halo canon. Just going to have a bit of a sip of my drink before we carry on with Halo 4. Now, Halo 4, at the time, I thought was very unnecessary, because we sort of finished the fight with Chief, and if we were going to have a new Halo, I thought it'd be another prequel or an offshoot somewhere. So bringing Chief back was a bit... The problem is second trilogies, and Microsoft found this with the Gears trilogy as well, and there's probably some other games like Mass Effect trying to go from the original trilogy to Andromeda, and these second trilogies always seem like a step down, or they feel unnecessary, or they just feel tacked on, and Halo 4 does and did at the time. But actually I think it has a better campaign than Halo 5, definitely, and I thought it brought a bit more to the table than Halo 5, in the sense you had that new enemy type, and it was really cool. And this is a hard one to rank. I actually quite enjoyed Halo 4, even though it's unnecessary as I thought that entire second trilogy of Halo is. And as I said, Infinite, I think Infinite will be good, but I still think it's an unnecessary sequel trilogy, and I'm just going to stick it on B, and I think it's definitely better than 5, but I don't think it's as good as 2 or ODST, so that's why it sort of sits in that area. But it is a top B tier game, and as I said, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time with it, but it just... 343 needed to really, really up it and do something spectacular to really get people on board with their sort of vision of Halo. With Bungie, just look at all the Bungie games, the 5 proper Bungie Halo shooters are all in the top 2 tiers, because that's the bar which was set, and I don't think 343 Industries have hit that bar yet, but Infinite seems to be getting close to that bar. Right, next up we have Halo Spartan Strike, and I'm just going to stick that straight in the C tier with Spartan Assault. They do what they say on the tin. They're not bad games. They're just 2-stick shooter games, and they do nothing special, but they're not bad. They're well made, and so that's why they are both in the C tier. Next we have Halo Wars. Halo Wars was really cool. I really enjoyed this offshoot of Halo. As I said, I enjoyed Halo Wars 2. I enjoyed Halo Wars. I think I enjoyed Halo Wars 1 a bit more, but I don't think it did enough to shoot it into the A tier. So that's just going to be on the B tier as well. And finally, The Rock has come back. No, finally, we have Halo Firestorm, Raven. And this is an arcade game, and it's really weird how they've just shoved this on this tier list, but I've not played this, and I've seen videos of it, and it just looks like a very serviceable arcade shooter, but I will just stick it on the D tier. It's maybe a bit harsh on it, but I've not played it, and it's a bit of a weird note to end it on. I should have swapped them around a bit, but there we go. There is my tier list. I'll just take you through them so we have sort of a final tier rating. We have in the F tier nothing, in the D tier Halo, Fire Team Raven. In the C tier we have both the 2-stick games. We have Halo Spartan Assault and Halo Spartan Strike. In the B tier, and I will do this in ascending order because I think these are actually in the order of how I would rate these games. We have Halo Wars 2, Halo Wars, Halo 5 and Halo 4. In the A tier we have Halo ODST and Halo 2, and I'm actually going to put Halo ODST because I love Halo ODST, Halo 3 ODST I should be saying, more than Halo 2. So then we have Halo 2 and Halo ODST. Next up, in third place, and this is probably my order I put them in, is Halo Combat Evolved. Then we have Halo 3, and I think just pipping it to the top as my favourite Halo game is Halo Reach. So there you have it. There was my tier list. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. All I need you to do now is go down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, share this video, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and follow me on Twitch at JustGoodGames18 for some streams. Won't be Halo Infinite because I ain't got an Xbox Series X yet, but I might be getting one soon, and then I will get Halo Infinite on it. But check out the streams, subscribe and all that, and thank you for watching, and you have been watching Just Good Games.